We start with a box. A company named GEEKHOM reached out to me and asked if I would showcase their springform pan for them. And I was like, sure, why the heck not? Springform pans are the go-to pan to make cheesecakes in. Normally, I make massive cheesecakes, but this is a 7-inch pan here, so I'll make a nice little personal-sized cheesecake for you. It's non-stick, and the nice thing about the springform pans is that the bottom comes out to make life very easy on you. It also came with a ton of parchment paper inserts, which I totally appreciate. Normally, I would have to cut my own parchment to fit, so this is a big time saver. By the way, if you wanted to get yourself one of these, there are links in the description box to the Amazon store and the GEEKHOM website. Use promo code 999PYY5PRS to receive 10% off your purchase if you would like to buy one of these pans from them. Getting started, we have a bowl, to which we add 2 pounds of cream cheese that I let sit out on the countertop for a while until it softened up. Using a spoon, we mix until a smooth consistency. You could also do this in a stand mixer to save a lot of time and energy, but I don't have one, believe it or not. Hint, hint, for any company that wants to send a stand mixer to be showcased on my channel in the future. Anyways, once the cream cheese is nice and smooth, 250 grams of sugar is added in increments and then mixed in until smooth again. If you add all the sugar in at once, it will easily clump up on you. You will know that you have mixed it enough by tasting it, and it should not be gritty at all. Next, we add in 38 grams by weight of all-purpose flour. Again, mix until smooth. Then 1 egg yolk, about a tablespoon of sour cream, 3/4 of a teaspoon of vanilla extract, a very small squeeze of fresh lemon juice. It should be around 1/3 of a fluid ounce. Mix that all up until smooth and creamy again. You see why a stand mixer would be very useful for this kind of thing. And lastly, add 4 whole eggs. And one more time, mix it until smooth and creamy. You always want to add the whole eggs last. Once it's nice and creamy, you are looking for this kind of consistency. Now take your pan and spray it well with non-stick baking spray. I know the pan is non-stick already, but I know better when it comes to cheesecakes. If you don't believe me, then go ahead and not use the spray, but you will most likely cry later on. And remember, there is no crying in the kitchen, so just take my advice on this. In goes the parchment paper insert, and pour the batter in, making sure to leave at least a 1/2 inch of space at the top. I know, people are cussing me out right now because I did not add a crust on the bottom. However, I do have the best reason on earth why I didn't make a crust. I don't like crust on my cheesecake. If you want a crust, then add a stupid crust on the bottom of yours. Smooth out the top nicely. Now there are 2 more things to do before this goes into the oven. First is to let this sit right where it is for 30 minutes. An hour is even better, and I'll show you why. Let's get up close. You see those tiny bubbles? If you bake this off now, all those bubbles will pop in the oven. And when it's done, the top of your cake will have little craters all over it. If you don't mind the top of your cake looking like the surface of the moon, then go ahead and skip this step. Also, every 10 minutes or so, come back and drop your cake. Now don't drop it on the floor, pick it up and gently drop it about a 1/2 inch, like 5 times. What this does is help pop those bubbles. That's why we let it sit for a while. New bubbles will form and pop during this rest period. If you take the extra time to pop your bubbles now, then the batter will smooth itself back out before it bakes, and you will end up with a nice smooth surface on the top of your cake. Off to the oven it goes at 225 degrees for 2.5 hours. No water bath. If you use a water bath, you can use a higher heat and cook it for less time. Here it was 2.5 hours, and as you can see, the cake rises a little bit to the top. This is where you want to stop cooking it. I was going to give it just a few minutes more. However, I got an important phone call and totally got distracted for almost 30 minutes. I didn't capture it rising over the top of the pan, but when it rises too much, the middle will slightly sink in a bit when it settles, and also the sides can accordion on you or worse. I'm letting it sit in the oven with the door open for about 30 minutes with the heat off. Once it's completely settled, take it out of the oven and set it on your countertop for many hours until it's 100% room temperature before wrapping it up and refrigerating overnight. The next day, I unwrap it. Since the bottom comes off these pans, just release the clasp and remove the pan from the bottom. As you can see, the top is slightly concaved inwards, and the sides are a bit wrinkled from it rising and then settling back down. So yeah, I overbaked it a little. And had I not gotten distracted, it would have been uniform all around, but oh well, I'll survive. To cut it, run a knife under hot water so that it makes a nice clean cut. Not too bad considering I overbaked it by 30 minutes. Using low temperatures to bake will sometimes save your ass. It still came out nice and creamy, even though I totally did my best to ruin this thing. And my favorite part about it being non-stick is actually that it's very easy to wash that way. Not much to wash off at all, really. Thanks so much again to GEEKHOM for reaching out to me and sending me this springform pan. Remember to use discount code 999PYY5PRS at the checkout if you want to save 10%. Links are in the description box. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.